listening to the What the Wrestling Podcast, the show that brings you all things wrestling with your host, RJ.
Oh, you already know what time it is.
Perfect.
AEW. AEW, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to talk about AEW Dynamite as always. But before we do, hit the like button. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me, RJDWorldwide on the Twitter, aka X. What the Wrestling, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, Spotify, and Anchor. I said Spotify and Anchor. We out here, baby. Let us not waste any more time as my chair continues to make noise, but we're going to roll through it. Let's go. Yes. Tis I, RJD here. I'm hoping that this is not slowing down, because what I see is it moving slower than my voice. I hope that is not the case. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. RJD here, What the Wrestling. We are here to talk about AEW Dynamite. Thank you for everybody who joined us today. Hit the like button. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Lot going on right now in WWE, and there's also a lot going on in AEW. So we cannot sit here and BS around. We had a good Dynamite show with some stuff that's aight, and we had some other stuff that was aight. So I mean, it is what it is. But we'll see what happens. But thank you to everybody for joining me. As always, we are here to bring you wrestling news, and we are here because we all love pro wrestling. So I'm going to continue to do that. I know it has some flip-flops here and there, but we back on track. We're going to keep the ball rolling, and we're going to keep it pushing. So, with that being said,
Perfect.
Let's get into the show. First thing we had is the Switchblade Jay White versus Penta El Cero Miedo. And first things first, these guys beat the holy hell out of each other. Chop, chop, chop. We had Switchblade and Penta going into a chop battle later on in the match, and man, do not chop with the chop guy, Penta.
Nope.
He will chop the holy hell out of you. Stupid. And then Jay White got mad and said, hey man, take your singlet off. You have protection. So he took it off and said, come on. And he still chopped the holy hell out of him. And Jay White still lost.
Stop it. Get some help.
The only thing I did not like about this match is that you have a match here with Penta and Jay White, and then it's an awesome match. There's a lot going on, but unfortunately it ends with some hooligan shenanigans. As always, we knew it was coming. The Bang Bang Gang get involved. Jay White takes advantage, hits the Blade Runner, and there you go. Juice Robinson with the cheap shot, with the right hand of God, cheap shot with the ring into the Blade Runner, and Jay White gets the win. And that unfortunately sucks because, you know, when you see a good match and you see certain people out there, you just know shenanigans are coming. Like, you can feel it, you know it.
Perfect.
It's like, we know how this is going to end. unfortunately.
Bruh.
But you got to do what you got to do. I understand, but there's got to be a better way to write that to where the same people don't keep winning the same way over and over and over. Um, Listen, if you're gonna have, let him cheat to win, but let him cheat without the Bang Bang Gang's interference. Something, I don't know. But at the end of the day, there was a promo after the match. The Bang Bang Gang, everybody's in there. Switchblade gets on the mic and says, MJF, he sucks because he's not there. He's afraid. Typical stuff. Juice Robinson gets on the mic and says, spoiler alert, he's going to win the douchebag battle royal in the main event. Okay, cool. Cool with me. After that, he's gonna take the stupid ring from him that he got from TJ Maxx for $25, $24.99 to be exact, and he's gonna go to Philly next week and he's gonna pawn it and get himself another gold tooth. Then we have MJF interviewed by Renee Paquette afterwards. Says he could have ran out there and gotten his ass beat like a very stupid good guy.
Nope.
But remember, he's our scumbag. But what he's gonna do is he's not a good guy. He's a scumbag. He's a scumbag. But he's the people's scumbag. And he's not gonna waste his entrance pop. He's gonna be on commentary in the main event, and he prays that Juice Robinson wins so that he can beat the holy hell out of him. After that, Max Caster rolls up and
Stop it. Get some help.
he offers to enforce their services with MJF for an 8-man tag. MJF says no, because he says after they could win and then they're going to scissor. And he's like, man,
Get the fuck out of here!
Caster then says he's going to go into the Battle Royal and he's going to win so that Freeman could put a ring on it. And
Stop it.
stupid Max is like, you know what?
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
He's out of there. And then Anthony Bowman says, man, we talked about dialing it back. And then Billy Gunn says, man, that guy's a scumbag. And Caster says, I know, but he's my scumbag. Good stuff all around. Emi Sakura versus Hikaru Shida. These ladies beat the holy hell out of each other. Towards the end, Emi hit a Tiger Driver. So close. There was a canter, another kick out. There was a back and forth. But the Falcon Arrow to Emi Sakura. She kicks out at 2 again, but she got hit with another katana, and she kicked her right in the entire face. So that had to suck for real. And Hikaru Shida wins again, and she is still the AEW Women's World Champion. Now, I don't know if they're building her up for Jamie Hayter, because Jamie Hayter was hot before she got hurt. And I know her and Britt Baker were going to do a thing, and then they didn't do the thing, and they were teaming up, and then they kind of left the story alone. Now they're doing the Toni Storm thing, so maybe they're building up Toni Storm to take the title, because Jamie Hayter's been out a long time, and I know she probably had shoulder surgery. I think it was the bad shoulder she had, but they got stories there. They got Toni Storm they're building up. They got Jamie Hayter, who when she's ready and able to come back, they have a story there with Britt Baker. They could put the title back on Britt Baker, or they could literally say, oh, it's good that you're back, and then slow burn it to where Britt Baker gets jealous. Maybe she gets the title back. They got stories that they can tell here. So maybe the ladies could start going after the TBS title, whoever's not going after the AEW women's title. So I look forward to seeing what they're going to do with all the women here, because I've been thinking a lot, like, where the hell is Jamie Hayter? I hope she comes back soon, but we will see what happens. So Renee Paquette has a sit down early in the day with Adam Copeland, basically saying Christian is going to hit rock bottom, and he's not going to team with Christian. He's not going to go heel. He is basically going to be there for Christian when Christian falls flat on his face, and when Christian hits rock bottom and he finally starts to turn it around, they'll have one last hurrah going for the tag team championships. And I look forward to it. It's going to be great. Absolutely. Then we had Wardlow killing Ryan Nemeth with a power bomb after he tried to do something in the beginning of the match and it wasn't happening. Wardlow basically squashed him.
Damn, son.
And Tony Schiavone said, "Listen, man, what's going on? Who you coming after?" And then he had MJF written on his wrist saying how MJF pissed him off and he's coming for MJF. And then he showed the checks Tony Schiavone and everybody's mad at him now because you don't touch Tony Schiavone. Renee Paquette talking to Kenny Omega. Renee Paquette was busy, I see. And he says this year has been tough. He doesn't want to be reminded of his win-loss record, but Kyle Fletcher has reminded him that he's a measuring stick in AEW, and maybe once he beats Kyle, he'll get going again and go after the world title. MJF rolls up and said he wanted to let him know he admired him and he's a big fan and he wanted to shake his hand. Omega accepts the handshake. Max pulls him closer and whispers, 13 days, biatch, in his ear, and then they went to a commercial break. So, what's in 13 days?
Damn, son.
I don't know, but Kenny Omega, MJF, yes, please. Take my money. I'm all for it.
Bruh.
We go to commercial break. We comes back. Mike Bennett is out there with the cover of Headstrong by Trapped and he parries it to Next Strong. Adam Cole brings Roderick Strong coffee. He spits it out and says he hates hot coffee. He gets at him for it. He apologizes after Cole threatens to leave and asks him for a great peanut butter and jelly sandwich from the Ring of Honor days. There's a sexual innuendo about Adam Cole making sandwiches. Strong goes to bite it and flips out about hating crust. Adam Cole unloads on them, and he finally leaves to go get his surgery. Roderick Strong tells him that the kingdom knows what he has to do to get his best friend back. He has to be nice to that scumbag. These vignettes are not as good as the Adam Cole MJF vignettes. Those vignettes were hilarious. What the hell? Who is calling me? Those vignettes were hilarious, but these are not so much. They're not hitting like the MJF ones. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they're not as good, man. I'm not as into them as I was when they were with Adam Cole and MJF. Tony Schiavone introduces Don Callis, and he's out there with Powerhouse Hobbs. He broke Chris Jericho in half, spine buster after spine buster. February 22nd, 1998. He was supposed to be the greatest day of his life. He had the chance to meet his hero, Chris Jericho, front row tickets. He walked past his grandma and he told her to sit her ass down. And at 70 years old, he swore that day he got to look him dead in the eye, that he'd hurt him over and over and over, and he did.
How dare you?
How dare you tell Grandma, Abuela, sit down and shut up. What's wrong with you? Anyway, Callis takes over, tells everybody Will is a big boy. He's going to squash everybody, saying Kyle Fletcher screwed the Don Callis family. Kyle Fletcher comes out there and says, listen, I don't need you. I did that as a favor. And when I beat Kenny Omega today, it's going to be a problem for everybody. And he says, listen, you want to be in the Don Callis family, you beat Kenny Omega, we'll have something to talk about. Out comes Kenny Omega versus Kyle Fletcher.
Bruh.
Good match. We had a V-trigger, electric chair, one-winged angel towards the end. This was a good match. Shout out to Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher is only like 24, 23. He's young brother. Tall brother, good-looking brother, great in the ring, knows how to run. I mean, he's good. And I've seen the United Empire, all of them, Ospreay, all of those guys. And I always liked them, especially that match they had with FTR last year. These guys are great. But I'm really when you see certain people break out and do singles matches, you really start to see how good they really are. Like, there's no hiding. Like, FTR, both of those guys are really good, but, I mean, was it last year? Might have been this year with Dax the Axe, man. He was just putting on banger after banger after banger. And like that's when Dax really grew on me. And I mean, I liked FTR since their days in NXT as a revival versus DIY versus all those other guys. Like Triple H knew those guys were talented as hell. I'm so glad that they got out of there and they went to Ring of Honor, had the trilogy with um the Briscoes and the guys with the Elite and all. I mean, tag team wrestling, love it. So Kyle Fletcher's really good. That's my point. I like Kyle Fletcher. Want to see more of them. But they're all elite, so we'll see a lot more of Kyle Fletcher, I'm sure. Then we had Brett Brown versus Lance Archer. Squash. Good to see Lance Archer back on TV because we haven't seen Lance Archer in a while. Good to see him back. One with the blackout. Then we had a music video by Swerve. And we had Sting. And Sting is basically out there. Sting's basically out there talking about the good old times. He learned from Hulk Hogan. He learned from Ric Flair. People got mad when he said Hulk Hogan because everybody was like, listen, we ain't rocking with Hogan right now. But people were like, he said Hulk Hogan. People were like,
stupid. Stop it. Get some help.
Nope.
They was not having that.
Get the fuck out of here!
But at the end of the day, he was talking about how basically, you know, he started saying the R word and he wanted to come back and he wanted to, you know, go out on his own terms because the way he went out before he didn't like, so he came back and now he's back. And should he be jumping off of balconies? Who knows? Everybody's like, you still got it. But he announces his R word retirement.
Bruh.
Listen, Stinger, man. He said, I think last year, he said the ride's coming to an end soon. I don't know why he says maybe this is time, but let me just say this about Sting. WWE fucked it up. They did. They brought Sting in there. They probably could have got an Undertaker match out of him. They probably could have did a lot of things when Sting got there, but they didn't do it. They had him lose to Triple H in his first match, which was stupid. I don't care if it was overbooked. Call it whatever you want. It was dope to see Sting in WWE, but he should not have lost that match. Neither here nor there, but they kind of botched him coming back, and the fact that he got to come back and he got to do it, and we got to see him in the ring, and we got to see him. AEW is using him to perfection. He's doing what he could do. They put him with Darby, which was excellent. Just everything about this run for Sting was dope as hell. And I'm just glad that I got to see Sting wrestle. I remember Sting wrestling, the Crow Sting coming from the Raptors in WCW when I was a kid. And now I get to see Sting wrestle even more. From all the way back before I was born to all the way now to TNA, WWE, all this. He's going out on his own terms, and I think that is amazing. We cannot get mad at him going out on his own terms. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see who his opponent is. We don't know, but his very last match will be at Revolution 2024, and we'll see who he wants to fight. It'll be dope. RJ City is backstage to debut Tony Storm's newest blockbuster, Going with the Storm, and it comes up in picture, and I wish it came up in picture. I wanted to see it because I like this Tony Storm thing that they're doing. I'm loving this new character she's got. Then we had Nick Wayne getting mad over his mom, getting mad with his mom. Jim Ross sitting there interviewing them, and Nick Wayne is just like, listen, man, Darby wanted to be the star. It was all about Darby. It wasn't about him getting here. It wasn't about anything. And he says, you know what? I've got a new dad now, and it's Christian Cage. And you just hear the crowd in the background going, oh, it's like the crowd is booing Christian, but they love it too. It's like they love what he's doing. It's almost like the MJF thing, where we know MJF's a bad guy, but we love MJF as a bad guy. So it's like, Christian rolls up and he's like, hey, he puts his hand on his shoulder and he's like, you want to come home? And then he gets up and walks out. His mom grabs his shoulder, and Nick says she's a terrible mother, and she slaps him across the face, and he says, you're dead to me. He walks out with Christian, and then Christian says, you should have answered the phone.
Gotcha,
Oh, I love Christian.
How dare you?
I love Christian. And it's just like, and then when they get outside, Darby Allin is beating the hell out of Christian and Nick Wayne to the point where he drags him onto the stage, but Luchasaurus gets the better of him. And then Sting comes out, and Nick gets smashed into a spotlight, and now he's bleeding from the mouth with a shattered tooth. I don't know if his tooth was actually broke, but it was a good visual. Scorpion Deathlock on Christian, but Luchasaurus makes the save. And backstage, Renee Paquette interviews the best friends and Hook about their 3 titles. Statlander says that says that the TBS Championship is great and it's about great pro wrestling, and that's why she's given the shot to someone she cares and respects, Willow Nightingale. Now, this I like. Willow is a great wrestler. Stat is a great wrestler. You took the thing off of Jade and you gave it to Stat, so whoever beats Stat, you got to build them up, and they got to be able to hold their own versus Stat, because Stat can go. Before she blew her knee out, she was white hot, and now she's not as hot as she was before, but she's the champ, and she deserves it, man. Chris Statlander is freaking really good at what she does, and Willow is really good too. So happy to see they're gonna have a kick-ass match for sure. And then we had Orange Cassidy. Can't quite think of what to say, and Chuck goes, you don't know what you got until it's gone, through a mouthful of eating an orange. And Cassidy says, I didn't know I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I just thought that there's unfinished business, and Saturday he's got something to prove. And then commentary hypes up the show for next week, and then Dustin Rhodes comes out to make his appearance. MJF comes back after the commercial break, and there you go. We have the Battle Royal. The Battle Royal ended up ending with Juice Robinson and Max Caster. Max reclaims the title belt and kisses it before turning it and lining up Switchblade. But Switchblade hits him in the cojones. And back in the because Max got the belt back after he was attacked on commentary. And then he got the belt. He was about to whack him over the head, but he got hit in the nuts. Back in the ring, Juice gets hit with the mic drop. Jay White then comes down, attacks, and Jay White then, no, my bad. That was before. The mic drop was before. Back in the ring, after he sets up everything, Juice gets out of his tights and puts a ring on his hand. And then he hits the right hand of God to, if I'm not mistaken, it was the right hand of God to Mr. Max Caster and throws him over, and he's basically dead weight. And the Bullet Club Gold stand tall, and the Bullet Club celebrates the AEW World Champion as MJF puts the Dynamite Diamond Ring on and draws at them from the stage. And that is all she wrote. So, at the end of the day, we had a good Dynamite. It was good. Some stuff in the middle I didn't like, but I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan about it too much. It was a good show. But I am looking forward to seeing who Sting fights at Revolution. I am looking forward to Swerve and see what he does, because even he said, listen, I'm supposed to be hype about this music video, but I feel like there's more going on. So maybe him and Hangman have another date with Destiny. MJF, Switchblade, MJF, Kenny Omega, MJF, Wardlow. There's a lot going on with MJF right now, and that is great. So we need to see what's going to happen with that. But at the end of the day, Dynamite is doing well. Kenny Omega is getting back into the picture. We had some storyline progression on this show. I'm looking forward to Collision tonight, actually. And like I said, I will be reviewing Collision and SmackDown mañana. Look out for that. But Dynamite's all right. They're doing good right now. Let's see what happens on Collision. Let's see what the Redeemer has to say about his hot and flexible wife. Because he will protect her from any man. Because I will protect her from herself. So, a lot going on. A lot to look forward to. Storyline progression. We love it. Only thing I wish is that AEW would just... like if it looks like a false finish and it sounds like a false finish, give us something else. Please give us something else. So we'll see what happens. So with that being said, I am out. Everybody be safe out here and enjoy the evening. Peace.